Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's been a very, very long time since I've been able to do a video like this, and I didn't think this day would come, but sure, lo and behold, here we are. First and foremost, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I hope you guys are doing incredible. In this day and age, and currently with the events going on in the world, I think the very first thing we all should be doing is hoping and praying that we all get through these tough times, because these are quite challenging and quite dreary times as it stands right now. But hopefully you all are doing great out there. It's been a while. It's been quite a while since you guys have heard my voice, and it's been an incredible amount of time since the MH1 walkthrough, hasn't it? I know I took I think it was 2 years off between the time of the MH1 walkthrough finale, and then I started MH2. I was actually playtesting with streaming and everything, and I was gonna come back full time and just work on videos and work on content for you guys. I know some of you guys wanted to see the Corinne fight from MH1, and just one thing led to another. Life got busy. Just long and the short story is landed a different job. It just so happens to be a federal job, in which case great job security. I have great security, but it just means I'm busy so darn much. Prior to that, I was actually teaching English, which is another awesome goal of mine that I wanted to achieve, and sure enough, I actually did it to an extent, at least. But it's just been incredible. It's been a surmounting amount of things, and life just got a hold of life just took priority, and I needed to take the time to step back and actually handle a lot of the just tasks that we have to do in adulthood. The biggest thing, however, would be that I got married. Well, not last year. I got married in 2014, but I had a child. Yeah, I'm a father. Father to a lovely and very lively little boy. He's incredible. It's life changed drastically when you have a child, guys. I'm just gonna say it. Life changes very, very drastically, and you have to be able to adapt, or you will adapt, whether you like it or not. It's just been crazy, but everything so far, outside of work and whatnot, has been awesome, and I'm gonna try not to take up too much of your time and just blabble on about nonsense. But the long and the short story is, the 2 year disappearance from me. Even though I said I was gonna come back, just understand that it was life. Life just takes a hold of you, and you have to be able to take care of your life responsibilities first before actually coming back and pursuing a hobby. And that's what we're doing, and that's kind of where we are now. How we led into this. Monster Hunter 2 DOS is officially complete. This series, by the time this video gets out, or finished, done editing and whatnot, it's officially done. I may have an extra a couple bonus episodes I do have planned, mainly showing off the different armor sets in the game, some of my favorites, showing you guys some of the forbidden gear that I used, which is completely unobtainable by natural means. You do have to use cheat codes to get the gear, and just small little things like that. I may or may not be accepting challenge runs, maybe hunt Shen Goran using only this weapon, or something reasonable. Maybe do a troublesome pair using only this weapon, or hunt maybe a subspecies like gold Rathalos, or sorry, gold Rathian, silver Rathalos. I may be accepting challenge runs. I don't necessarily know just yet. I figured with the series officially coming to an official close, I would talk about the future of the channel and everything that's going to be going on, especially my plans and how I plan to revamp the channel a little bit. Everything, first and foremost, is going to be staying Monster Hunter related and themed. That's not going to change. Thinking about it, man, thinking about where this channel started back in 2013, and then starting the Monster Hunter with MH1, starting the Monster Hunter 1 walkthrough, and then just thinking about how it just blew up. And I still look back to those days and I say, I did it at the right time. it's not that there wasn't other MH1 videos out there. It's just that mine just so happened to catch a lot of people's eyes and attention. I'll never forget that. I'm sincerely grateful to everybody that's, taking the time out of their day to watch any one of my videos. Doesn't matter which one it is. I'm just incredibly, I'm proud. I'm proud of the success that MH1 brought. And with MH2, it was a project that I wanted. I know when I started it, I wanted to do it because this is a game that I never touched before. I literally walked into it blind, not knowing what was going to happen, not knowing what to expect. And boy, oh boy, did MH2 dose. Dose came with a lot of unexpected stuff that I was very familiar in terms of playing, recent MH games, but God, was it a challenge. So with that being said, guys, before I get into MH2 and my personal experience with the game, and ultimately what I recommend it to anybody, first and foremost, shout outs to you guys, shout outs to the fans. You guys have been keeping this channel alive, even when I was not uploading anything for almost 2 years, and then how long it took the MH1 walkthrough to get completed. You guys still remain there. I come back, I upload a video. I was not expecting any, you guys or anybody to really be watching these videos, but it turns out the community stays strong. Monster Hunter, the Monster Hunter community is one of the best communities, period. If you are not a part of the MH community in any form or facet, doesn't matter if you come from a different country and you just so happen to like the game, this game is huge. This series is big, it's vast. There's something for everybody. If you like Pokemon, if you like a lot of RPG based elemented games, you're gonna love Monster Hunter. Seriously, give it a shot. But with that being said, let me talk about my experiences with MH2 Dose. Dose took me for one hell of a spin. It's a beautifully crafted game. To my knowledge, Dose is the fourth game to be created, at least in terms of Monster Hunter. It's the fourth game to be created, but it's the second major series or second major title in the series. And what I mean by that is MH1 came out, then we had Freedom 1, and then I think Freedom 2 came out. When did we get it? We didn't get Freedom 1 until I think 2006, 2007. So MH2 Dose was created in 2006. So in my opinion, this is the second major title because this is the second major console game that we received, at least in terms of Monster Hunter. Well, we out here in the West, in the United States, we never received this game. We ended up skipping it, which is fine, all good, all fair. This game only came out in Japan. I don't know what the design team was doing. Let me take a sip of water real quick. It's gonna be a doozy. Alright, so what I mean by that is I was extremely surprised coming from MH1 and just how difficult it was. MH1 gives you nothing. You have to learn how to be a hunter. You have to eventually grow into becoming a hunter. You have to learn how to kill a monster, learn how to capture it, learn how to do the delivery quests, the egg hunts and whatnot, or in this case the Powder Stone quest, as a lot of you guys remember some of my old videos. But this game takes a lot of the elements from MH1 all the way up until Freedom 2 and implements a lot of interesting concepts, like the monster subspecies comes back, and some parts of the storytelling in this game is just completely different. So in MH1, it's the progression, the storyline, and the difficulty curve ultimately progresses the more hunts you complete in the hunting board, and I'm speaking from MH1. So the more hunts you do, and you have to complete all of them, I don't think there's a single hunt in that game, not to my memory, that is skippable or is optional. You have to do the hunts, you have to complete all the 1-stars, then you have to do an urgent quest, which usually has you fighting, let's say, Kutku or Jusiparos or Hatarush, Rathalos, or, a big major monster to test you. It's your big test to see what you have learned from this chapter of hunts. You go from the forests and hills in MH1, all of a sudden you get access to the desert region. Now you have to learn how the different terrains and ecosystems work. Why do you need to take a cool drink in the desert, but then at the same time, why do you need a hot drink in the desert? Well, it turns out when you go into the cave, it's cold. Makes sense, right? Well, in MH2, there's a lot of different and I call it intricacies, but it's intricacies, but I also call it metagame. There's a metagame within the game. So MH2 does still do the traditional Monster Hunter related stuff. However, it is all about the progression of Jumbo Village. So you not only have to progress the villagers. How do you do that? Well, naturally, we would just go to the hunting board and we would just do our basic training hunts, and then we would do the 1-star hunts, and then we would lead that into the 2-star hunts, right? That's not how it works in MH2. So in MH2, you will do the training hunts with the training hunter, and then you'll progress into doing the job board hunts at the Hunter's Tavern, I call it. You'll end up doing that, and everything feels normal, everything feels kind of natural. But the problem is that it's all the urgent quests don't come from the board, they actually come from the villagers. So in this case, occasionally you'll start to see blue bubbles and red bubbles come up above certain villagers' heads. Namely, one of the first ones you do is for the chief, the village chief of Jumbo. And they're both classified, and please, for anybody that's an MH2 expert, correct me if I'm wrong, if I get anything, if anything that I'm about to say is wrong. So you have to do the blue bubbles and red bubbles are both classified as urgents, but some blue bubbles are optional, that you don't actually have to do them, but for the most part, you have to do them to get to the red bubbles, because that's the only way they eventually get unlocked. The red bubbles are absolute; they must be done. You have to do these in order to progress the story. So that caught me off guard a little bit, because you don't, with what was difficult in MH1 is not necessarily difficult in MH2. So you don't do a lot of delivery quests in MH2 in terms of egg hunts or stuff like that. You actually don't do them. Vice versa to MH1, where you actually had, I think, 3 that you had to do in the offline quests in order to, eventually go off and fight Monobolos, Diablos, and then like Kezu and those kind of hunts. But in MH2, you don't do any delivery quests at all, at least in terms of the offline ones, which is interesting. But there's a reason, or there's a catch, I should say. With MH2, with how the urgent hunts work, also comes with another trick of the trade, which is the seasons. So there's 3 seasons. You start instantly in the summer, then you progress into the winter, and then you go into the spring, which is called the breeding season, and then you rotate right back into summer. Each season lasts 5 days. Each day has a day and night cycle. So certain items that are going to be needed in terms of a quote-unquote delivery quest, because a lot of the blue bubble quests that you'll get from the villagers are actually delivery. They're looking for specific materials that you can find out in a specific region, or, in this case, jungle region, or the old desert area, the glacier region, and so on and so forth. Well, not certain materials, certain items can only be found during the day. Vice versa, certain items can only be found at night. I think one of the first delivery quests you do for I think it was the village chief, is you have to find I think it was not Lanastra, that's the monster, but it's like a lunar herb, but you can only find it at night, and that caught me off guard because you can also only find it in this, I think, in the spring season, which is like, huh? Who would? Oh yeah. So not only do you have to worry about doing the job, the regular hunting board hunts, but you also have to do the villagers quest to actually progress the story. And this is important because the hunter's tavern, the blacksmith, and the shipyard, the quartermaster shipyard, each start off at level 1 and can be upgraded into level 3. So there's 2 leveling phases that you have to do for each. And usually the rotation is you'll get the Hunter's Tavern to level 3, then you get the Blacksmith to level 3, and then you get finally the Shipmaster's Yard to level 3. And how does that work? Well, you have to do the Blue Bubble and Red Bubble urchin quests, specifically from the Village Elder, the Blacksmith Lady, and also the Shipmaster, who kind of looks like a catfish. So you have to do all those things. Here's the other thing. Each season has about 30 quests in each. So summer has 30 individual quests that you can do in the summer, during the summer season. Winter has, I think, 28 or 29 quests that you can do. And then spring or breeding season has also about 30 quests that you can do for that specific season. So rotating back to what I said earlier, the difficulty curve in MH1 was very easily progressive because it mainly was just reliant on the hunter's board, getting the quest from the village elder. In MH2, the difficulty curve really ramps up because by the time you get to your first major hunt, which will be Daimyo Hermitar, you finally have gotten access to the desert region. Good job. Awesome. And then right after Daimyo Hermitar, you have to fight a Gen 1 Plessy. This caught me off guard completely. Going back to when I fought Plessy for MH2, I think it was the Golem Blade. I think that's the greatsword I used. And that's only like at a base power of like 620, which is not bad, but it's pretty bad for fighting a Gen 1 Plessy. For reference, in MH1, I fought a Gen 1 Plessy. By the time I fought him, I think it was episode 18, and I had to fight a Rathalos before I fought a Plessy. In this game, what the hell, I'm going in completely, not naked, but completely caught off guard because here I am fighting a Gen 1 Plessy with a very subpar weapon, and you have to fight him. You have no other choice. You have to fight him right after Daimyo Hermitar, which is like, what in the world? This is crazy. So, and not only that, with how the game is, you're going to end up fighting a monster probably 3 times, at least twice. So, ultimately, to get to access to, to unlock eventually Teostra and some other hunts, you have to be able to have killed each monster 1 time. You don't have to kill the subspecies, but you have to kill a Kutku, you have to kill a Blagongo, you have to kill an Iodrome and a Gendrome, which I found, once you kill a Velocidrome, you basically, once you fight a Velocidrome, you fought a Gendrome and an Iodrome. They're basically the same monster with one particular difference. But they're intro hunts. When you first fight a monster, you might get an intro hunt. You get a little cutscene, when you fought Diabolos, you got an intro scene to him to show you and what you're about to be up against. In MH2, you could potentially be fighting, and this was the case for me, you could fight a Gravios before you fight a Basarios. You have to fight a Plessy right after you fight Daimyo Hermitar, and then right after that, you'll fight a Gravi, which is like, what the heck is going on? Like, so certain intro hunts for certain monsters are actually in specific seasons. So, as I mentioned before, there's 3 seasons. There's like 30 hunts, with exception to the winter. There's like 30 hunts in each season. So you could fight certain monsters when you're not actually intended to fight them. For instance, in my case, Gravios. I fought a Gravi when I wasn't actually technically supposed to. I was supposed to, have fought a Basarios in a different season at a different time in a different region. Which is, how would any hunter back in the day have known that? That's like, you would have to be a master at the game and have played it already to actually understand how the difficulty curve works in this game. But the long story short is, the difficulty curve is all over the place, and it actually is crazy early game, or I thought it was actually a pretty tough early game. But then after I fought, like, you fight Kushala Daora, and eventually you fight like Lanastra and whatnot, it calms down a little bit in the mid game, like the middle portion of the game, but then coming up on the finale, at least in terms of the offline quests, it starts to pick up again with certain guys. Again, Lanastra being one of the more challenging ones, just because of her nature and, frame data and everything else like that. She, being a pretty aggressive monster, but also being able to attack you on certain angles. Sometimes it comes down to a little bit of luck, and then other times it doesn't. But the difficulty curve is all over the place. This is not a jump-on friendly Monster Hunter game. If you have not played Monster Hunter, I cannot recommend this game for you. Not out of spite, but just out of, there's no way you would be ready for this. But because, you got the seasons, you have the hunting board, which you have to do. So when you fight and kill a Plessy, you'll immediately get access to this subspecies. So then you have to then you can go off and fight a green Plessy. We're talking, this is a Gen 1. These things hit like trucks. How in the world are you expected to do that kind of stuff? Oh, well, it's the different seasons. Well, my point is, the game is designed great, but certain things, thank God they never brought them back. Like, having the seasons play such a huge role in the game. The development team that did this game definitely took a lot of risks. There's no doubt about it. With the season mechanic alone in the game, they took a boatload of risks, and it's oh my goodness, it just throws a lot. It threw me for a loop. I got thrown off guard. So I know there's other hunters out there that absolutely feel the same way. Not only that, but the first time you fight your first Elder Dragon, which in this case would be Kushala Daora, you have to fight him 3 times. You have to repel him once in the jungle, then you have to repel him again in the desert, then you can finally kill him in the glacier region. By the way, you have to do that again with Lanastra. You have to repel her twice and then kill her finally on the 3rd mission. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but that's not a good idea. That it didn't agitate me, but it was kind of like, huh? Like, I can understand doing that for Kushala Daora because this is the first time you're getting introduced to an Elder Dragon, or at least in this game. And they're trying to really make the fight seem very epic. They're trying to lead the fight into something very major. And I really appreciate that because it gives you a sense as a hunter, it gives you a sense of urgency, and it gives you a sense of, this is the big guy, I gotta take him down. And you feel that throughout each and every fight. The first 2 fights are more so about survival, but then the 3rd fight, it's like, this is the real deal. But then having to do that, having to have already done that, and then having to do that again is a little annoying. I'm super happy that they didn't follow that up. It's almost like they took that element from Fatalis in MH1 and said, well, you had to have repelled Fatalis 3 times, then kill her, or kill him, her, on the 4th hunt. It's like they took that concept and then instantly threw that into this game, which I think for the offline quests, like for an HR an HR 50. For some hunter that's HR 50 or working, they're already, through the guild quests, I can understand a hunt like that because it justifies the situation. But in this case, forget it. Like, to have to do that 3 times, oof. And then moving forward, some of the other hunts that I thought were challenging, Lunastra was a challenge a little bit. Chameleos was interesting. I really, really loved that fight, but that was actually kind of one of my more challenging ones. Obviously, Gen 1 Plessy, you fight her so early in the game that there's very little way that you can prepare for it. Tell me what armor set number 1 you're going to walk into there, because you got 2 choices. You got Cephadron and you got Daimyo Hermitar. Take your pick. Obviously, you're going to go for Hermitar. Me, I like style. My girl Celestia, she likes style, so we go with the Cephadron always, but it's crazy. Another thing that threw me off guard is the weapon trees in this game are interesting. So naturally, in every MH game, you're going to the Iron Path. I'm jumbling my words up here a little bit, so forgive me. The Iron Path is better for the short-term answer. What I mean by that is the Iron Path is stronger early game, but then later on, the Bone Path is stronger because you get access to the legendary forbidden weapons. You get access to the Blushing Dame for the greatsword, for us greatsword users out there. You get access to the Dragon Path and the specific monsters path. It's not just strictly based. It's not like Iron, which the Iron Path, which is based on Mashalite ore and then the different ore elementals or the different ore types. And in this game, naturally, before I fight a Plessy, I would want to go grab a Vile Serpent Blade. So throughout the time I was doing, before I fought Plessy, I was farming for the bone, for how far can I upgrade my Bone Greatsword, thinking that I can eventually get it to a Vile Serpent Blade. Well, that's not the case, because in this game, the Serpent Blade path is on the Iron Tree for some reason. And correct me if I'm wrong, hunters that are out there, what game do you know has the Serpent Blade path on the Iron Tree? I don't know of any other game, to be quite honest. I could be wrong, but I really don't know of any other game. This, again, certain little details, and I had to look this up to find it out. Eventually, obviously, I was too late at that point, but it was kind of like, wait a minute, what is going on? This game is all over the place sometimes. I'm telling you. I thought MH1 was the gold standard for difficulty. You want a challenge? Come play MH2. Come play MH2. I'm personally sending out my invitation to you guys. This game it has multiple ways of slapping you. It really does. But then a lot of the endgame fights that I thought were very challenging. Yami Tatsu. Oh my god, what is that giant orb? The giant moss elder dragon. Yami Tatsukame? Yami something. That thing. A video game developer when you see one. I gotta get my hats off to the development team. The tower region is one of the best regions in MH history, in my opinion. I love it. I love the mystique behind it. I love the fact that it's treated as this forbidden place that not many hunters are allowed to go. You have your final fight with Lunastra up in that tower, which is awesome. The whole leading up and going in the circles, leading all the way up to the finale point, is just awesome. It builds up a suspense. It motivates the player to want to really go and challenge Lunastra head on to finish this, to finish off the offline quest, which is perfectly well designed and it's awesome. But when I finally fought Yami, I realized a very important thing. They probably made Yami before they made the tower, Because if you realize when you fight Yami in the tower, which is his intro hunt, the arena is so perfectly designed. Like Lanastra, you only fight her in one area. Yami, you're fighting the whole way up. And throughout the time the very first time I got access to the tower region, that's what was going through my mind when I was running all the way up. I'm like, this is a nice suspense. I like it. But you only fight Luna is all the way up. Other than that, the rest of the tower is really not making you're not really making use of the rest of the map. Yami, however, you are. By the way, I gotta say it, man. Fuck Thunderbugs. Whoever was behind the concept of Thunderbugs, I tip my hat off to you. I hate that enemy so much. I think that is the most bullshit small enemy in Monster Hunter, period. Worse than Bullfango. Worse than Velociprey. Worse than the small Hermitar crabs. It is single-handedly the worst thing that you could ever have fought against in terms of small monsters. A giant moss-covered elder dragon is trying to suck me in and, just blow me to smithereens. And at the same time, he's sending 6 of these little things out to get me. Not only can they knock you down, not stun lock you, but they can knock you down, they can paralyze you, and then they can blow you up and knock you off the platform, sending you all the way back down. I really would love to talk to somebody that was from the development team, somebody that came up with Yami and just came up with the tower. I really want to know what their thought process was when they decided, you know what, Yami's still a little too weak, we need to give him a partner in crime. What do? We give him a Thunderbug. Damn it, man. God, I felt very, very rarely in video games do I get upset or actually agitated. The Thunderbugs caught me off guard. They are I was cursing. It was that bad. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. These things are worse than Bullfango. How do you make a small enemy that is worse than Bullfango? Please tell me. And you guys accomplished it. God, well done. Again, hats off to the development team, man. They really did a good job. It may seem like I'm talking a lot of I'm racking on the game a little bit, and that's because I'm trying to give you guys my honest opinion on the game, where I think they messed up and where I think they excelled. And where I think they excelled is in the details, the story behind the game, playing this game with a translated patch to it and actually understanding the village that you're surrounded with. You don't know this village, but you're seeing it and watching it grow. You're seeing the townspeople, more and more transient villagers are starting to implant themselves in this village. They're starting, they're becoming villagers themselves. You start to attract more. When the tavern gets to level 2, you start to see a walking lady. Eventually, when you get to the blacksmith, get the furnace and everything done, she starts to get helpers, and eventually you can you go into the mining cave. You can give a guy a pickaxe and he'll hopefully get you a mashalite ore or something crazy. You just watch a village start to thrive and grow. You start to see the villagers, from the small kanji I can read, which isn't much. You start to see them trust you and start to like you more and more, and you get overwhelmed with a lot of the urgent quests, but you start to see the beauty of Jumbo come alive, and you start to see everyone just say, all the NPC characters, saying you're the main hunter, and they love and appreciate your efforts, the small things that you do. And this is the beauty of MH2. This is one of the details that they absolutely carried into other games. For instance, making small things a little bit easier. In MH2, you don't have hardly any delivery quests. Yes, you do have the gatherings, but there's no egg hunts. It's just straight go kill the monster. There's no capture. There's no, you rarely do you ever use tranquilizer bombs. You just go, you kill the monster, you move on. Yes, you may have to fight that monster 2 or 3 times, or you end up saying, hey, wait, I killed an iodrome in the swamp. Why do I have to go hunt it in the desert all of a sudden? Small things. It's the small things that make the giant, or small things that make the big picture, and this is just the beauty of MH2. I cannot describe it enough. The fact that when you get the shipmaster's yard to stage 3, you really start to see the entire village develop. A fishing lady starts to come in, and certain days she'll have certain items for you to buy. The cat's store expands, and you can buy more and more things. The dragon lady who gives you, your first elder dragon hunts. You can have the mini games, the drinking mini game with her. You can have the arm wrestling with the shipmaster. When you get the shipmaster's yard to level 3, you can go back to Kokoto, which was like, when I saw that cutscene, please, if anyone that has played MH2, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Jumbo Village Chief, when he leaves after you slay Kushala Daora, when he leaves and he goes off on his journey, he finally settles down in the Forston Hills region. And then that cutscene threw me off guard. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said, that's Kokoto. Sure enough, you go back to Kokoto Village. Is MH2 a prequel to MH1? Is the original development team of Capcom at the time that worked on this game, are they fucking with me? Like, wait a minute. Because it's funny, because in my lore that I built for Celestia, MH2 takes place 4 years after the events of MH1. But here, the development team is basically, tossing me a bone and say, hey, MH2 actually is a prequel, kind of, if that makes sense. Because the Jumbo Chief, the Jumbo Chief ends up creating Kokoto Village, at least by what that cutscene told me. I don't know if you guys got the same feeling or not, but I couldn't believe what I saw. I was like, this is awesome. Does this mean I can go back? And sure enough, you can. And it's, again, that's just the small details make the whole picture. It paints the whole story, and it's just absolutely wonderful. I loved every single moment. This game was challenging in every way. The later games, fighting Shengoran, fighting White Fatalises, the whole Fatalis family, fighting Rajang. This was the first time I ever fought Rajang, and my god, what a beast. Not as bad as my wife was. My wife hates Rajang, but not as bad as what she was telling me, but still pretty tough and challenging. To say the least. A lot of these fights just get tougher and tougher and tougher, at least in terms of the what was meant to be the online hunts. But I can't speak enough praises for this game. I truly can't. The fact that you have such a wide selection of armor choices and weapon choices, you can, and not only that, but you can actually level up the armor pieces. I think most armor sets can be upgraded 3 or 4 times, but certain armor sets can't. Like Fatalis' armor set, you can't upgrade that at all. Kushala Daora's, on the other hand, you can upgrade 4 times, and I think Kushala is actually the strongest armor set in the game. Stronger than Gen Z Rathalos, which is like, huh? Like, wait a minute. This is where they probably got the idea for of the eventual Dread King armor, or the eventual Dread King Rathalos set, or the Dread Queen Rathian, although those are deviant monsters, and that's a whole other topic in itself. The fact that you see all of this stuff and you start to recognize it in other games, like the fact that they make farming eventually easier for the players, with the Cat Village and Freedom Unite, but then you also get that in 3U, and I believe 4 also had that. Eventually, they did they took a lot of risks with Monster Hunter 2, period. They took a lot of risks with this game. They knew that this game was going to be difficult, It was going to be different, and it was going to be tough. But you can get through all of these challenges, be it solo or be it with a group of hunters. You can absolutely get through all of these challenges that they have for you. And I think that's what's one of the most important parts of this game, is the fact that you can just do so much. Everything, yes, the difficulty's all over the place, but the fact that you can still get through it is one of the greatest achievements I've ever had, at least in my time of playing Monster Hunter. It's one of the greatest achievements I can say. And I like how I love how, your guys' feedback along the way has been incredible and been awesome. So my final review on Monster Hunter 2 Dose. If you have access to play this game, absolutely play it. In my opinion, it's not the most jump-on friendly Monster Hunter game. If we're comparing it to 3U or we're comparing it to Generations, it's definitely not. You play the old school classic Monster Hunter games because it provides a sense of challenge. It provides a completely different experience than what most are used to. I'm going to assume most of you guys started playing Monster Hunter when 3U came out, but there's going to be a good amount of you that started playing Monster Hunter when it first came to the United States and when it came to other countries. If you were in Japan, you got all of them. So we're all different. And that's the beauty of Monster Hunter. We're one big community that no matter what game you started with, no matter what is your favorite village, no matter what is your favorite weapon, be you a melee or a ranged user, there's something for everybody. We're all unique, but we're all in this together. We're all hunters of all different ranks and experience and just everything. We're all here to help each other. This is the biggest lesson Monster Hunter can give you, and this is the biggest lesson this game series has given me, which is a big sense of achievement, dedication, and a very big feeling of home that I can never replace. Monster Hunter 2, as it stands, is the gold standard of difficulty. It is harder than MH1. I will confidently say that. And if you're looking for a challenge, there's no other game, in my opinion, that is going to set the bar and then raise it again and again and again. This is the game you come for. You want the old school Gen 1 Plessy with the Elder Dragons, with White Fatalis and then Crimson Fatalis and getting one hit KO'd and all these other things. There's no better game. You gotta play this game. Try it. Beat MH1 first, and then if you liked MH1, you might be ready to beat this game. And if you ever need help, I'm always here to talk about my personal experience or how I dealt with certain hunts, and that's why I do these videos. That's another reason why I do them, because I want to showcase the authentic hunting experience. I want to showcase what Monster Hunter is. I want you guys to get in there, feel as if you're the one playing the game, feel the sights, the sounds, look at what I do, look at what Celestia does. How does she approach this scenario? How does she approach this monster? What do we do that's unique or dumb or different? We're all different hunters. We do things very differently. My style is a very interesting approach, at least in terms of hunting, but my style is different from yours. Yours might be different. I'm mainly a greatsword user. That's my predominant weapon, and but some of you guys might be dual swords. It's just the diversity too. Monster Hunter is so damn diverse, man. I can't speak enough of it. So, but I will say confidently, this is my favorite Monster Hunter game. I've had so much fun with MH2 DOS. If any of the original game development or developers that worked on this game ever see this video, or ever sees this video, excuse me, thank you so much. You've done it once again. And I can see what you took from this game and put it in, let's say, Freedom Unite, or put it in 3U or 4, or eventually Generations. I know exactly where you got it from. And hopefully others out there, hopefully some of you guys watching this video are going to be able to eventually experience this game, and I hope you do, because this is truly just like exactly like I experienced with MH1. This is a completely unique experience, and I want you guys to feel it at least once. You won't regret it, trust me. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for keeping this channel alive. Thank you for everything. You guys have been awesome. This community, this small portion of the Monster Hunter community has been awesome. You guys have been dedicated. Even if I leave for a year, you guys come back. You're still there. You're still supporting the channel. If you like this walkthrough, you'll love my original MH1 walkthrough, which was started in 2013 and was completed, I think, in 2017. Yeah, it's long story short. Long story there. And I'm so happy I got to work on this project. I'm so happy I got to actually get back into Monster Hunter again. Because I don't have a lot of time to play games as much as I used to. But the times I do, I always love to go back and experience the classics. So, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Now with that being said, I do, as tradition is, I'd like to talk about the top five regions that supported this walkthrough in particular. So in MH1, I came up with it. I checked the analytics and I looked at the top 5 countries that supported supported the channel, but also supported these videos specifically. So for MH1, I think it was USA, but then Thailand was up in there, Indonesia was up in there, and I definitely want to continue this trend. So the top 5 as it stands, hold on, let me pull this up. Sorry guys, I know, professional, right? So the top 5 countries for MH2 as it stands by the time this video comes out: United States, good old US of A, the country that I'm from and I originated. Good old US of A, thank you guys so much out there. Shout outs to the red, white, and blue, one of the biggest Monster Hunter communities out there in the world. You guys keep hunting, keep it strong, keep hunting, you can do it for sure. The second top country, again, this puts a smile on my face: Indonesia. Indonesia, you guys, shout outs to the Indonesian Monster Hunter community. You guys blew up. I know of like 2 or 3 different Facebook pages, one for Monster Hunter in general, but in Indonesian, and then one for Monster Hunter World. World, I've heard so much good about, and I think with Monster Hunter World, all the different major regions around the globe are definitely getting their best players to do things like speed hunts and everything, which is awesome to see. But shoutouts to Indonesia, you guys are awesome. Shoutouts to what the hell? Oh, I'm sorry, the capital city, Jakarta. Shoutouts to you guys. Assalamualaikum. Kayan luar biasa cinta Indonesia. Hopefully I said that right. My Indonesian is nowhere near as good as my other languages, but hopefully I did that right. Shout outs to you guys. Indonesian strong. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. The third major country that supported the MH2 DOS walkthrough, Brazil. Big ups to Brazil. Shout outs to everyone from Sao Paulo and oh my god, what was that other major one? I believe it started with an F. I'm so sorry, I can't remember all the major cities. But shout outs to Sao Paulo, shout outs to Brazil, the Rio de Janeiro. Big ups to you guys. Brazil's been one of my biggest supporters for a long time now, very much like Indonesia. Shout outs to you guys. Boa strong always. Shout outs Estrada da Estrela also. Always chase that road to the stars, guys. You guys are incredible. You guys are awesome. The fourth major country, Malaysia. Dude, Southeast Asia is so strong. At least with my channel. Southeast Asia is strong, man. Shout outs to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and again, salam alaikum. As always, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much to the Malaysian Monster Hunter community. You guys are incredible. And the last country, and this was so close. This was going back and forth between 3 countries. It was actually a tie for quite a while. But somehow you guys did it. Big ups, shout outs to the Philippines. You guys are awesome. I actually have a few relatives that are actually Filipino, and I've grown up around the Filipino culture, and I've grown up around you guys a lot. Philippines is an awesome place. If you ever get a chance to go visit. It's such an incredible place to be. All these countries are awesome, and shout outs to these. I gotta give my props where props are due. Shout outs to the top 5 countries. You guys, from this walkthrough in particular, but shout outs to you, the viewer. Thank you so much for your time. The fact that you took the time to watch this long video of me ranting a little bit, but not ranting, but me throwing my constructive criticism, talking about Monster Hunter, and just talking about my love and passion for the series. And I hope that you also have that same passion and that same drive, and I hope all of my videos are motivating to you to try some of the old school classics. If you are a big fan of Monster Hunter World, come back and revisit some of the classics. I guarantee you're going to have a lot of fun, for sure. Maybe a little bit harder and maybe a little polarizing in some areas, but I think you would absolutely enjoy it. Shout outs to the viewer. Thank you for listening to me ramble for the past hour. Real close to it. Shout outs to you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are absolutely wonderful. I cannot thank you enough. I seriously cannot thank you enough. Seriously. Thank you guys. So, what is next for the channel? Well, I'm going to be taking a small break. Not anything crazy. I'm not going to disappear, I promise. I'm not going to disappear, for another year, like I normally would do. I will be around. I'm going to be a lot more consistent in terms of videos. Like I said, I still have maybe a bonus episode or 2 to upload for MH2, but truly this is definitely the finale to the entire video series, or this is the last major episode for the series. I'm debating of what to do. My first major thing is there's going to be a major channel overhaul. I've decided, along with my wife actually, to take the Monster Hunter series and push it even forward further in terms of what we do, and make this bigger and make this channel more bigger and diverse a little bit, but keep it all in the Monster Hunter realm. I want to do more things with the community. I want to do more things and get more involved with the Monster Hunter series as it stands, because there's so much more that I want to explore with this game. With the series in total, or in general, excuse me. So I'm thinking I'm going to play the major Monster Hunter titles. I definitely want to play maybe the major titles at least. So I'm thinking my next game may be Freedom Unite, but I've already done 2 games that are very similar, and Freedom Unite is basically the giant conundrum of the previous 2 games that I've I've just completed. So that might seem a little redundant. I may or may not do Freedom Unite, which means the next major title would probably be 3U. Then I probably would do 4. I didn't like 4 too much, but I'll definitely still do it. And then eventually, and then Generations. But so many of you guys, comments, messages, everything, you guys keep telling me to play World. You guys have been, going back and forth. You gotta play World. Let me hunt with Celestia. It'd be an honor to hunt with you and all these things. And, right back at you guys. I would love to hunt with a lot of you guys. But I do feel it feels a little awkward to me because there's an abundance of content creators out there. In terms of Monster Hunter nowadays, there is, that are specifically focusing on World. And I don't know if you guys would like my perspective on World. Now, can I do it? Absolutely. Would I be willing to do it? 110%. But I don't know because, again, you guys probably already have other MH content creators that focus primarily on World. So if I'm doing it, there has to be a good reason. There has to be a better reason for it. So I'm trying to justify me touching World. Again, maybe I'll do like a community poll and you guys can vote on the game that you want to see me do next. It's definitely going to be Monster Hunter centered, Monster Hunter for sure. I think at this point, Monster Hunter is the biggest thing I've ever done, at least in terms of content creation, and just from a hobby perspective. But my first big project right now is take a small break and then start to get the channel revamp. Myself and my wife have created an identical brand that we want to put forward on the table for the Monster Hunter community. I know we want to do like a website and do everything Monster Hunter centered, guides and kind of reviews and just fun stuff that I think is lacking, at least in terms of MH related. I mean, there's the Monster Hunter wiki, and then there's, you guys have the Monster Hunter Reddits, and obviously the different specific Facebook groups. Monster Hunter Brazil has a huge community on the Facebook side of life. And then Monster Hunter is also big in Indonesia. It's big in Thailand. It's big in Belgium. It's big in Argentina. It's everywhere. That's, again, the beauty of the game, man. The beauty of the game. So right now, I want to take the momentum that I have and actually put forward a new identity for the channel and do more. Just be more involved with the Monster Hunter community. I think having a website dedicated to that would be awesome, and maybe expand a little bit into the social media side of life. But more details on that when I finally am able to reveal that stuff. But my original channel name, Begin the Uprising, I definitely want to change that, and I've been wanting to change it for a while, but I didn't have a good reason to change it. Now I do, because everything revolves and is centered around Monster Hunter. I put a lot of time and effort into the videos and into doing the walkthroughs, and I finally want to take the next step and pursue it a little bit more, with a little bit more drive, if that makes sense. So hopefully that sounds exciting to you guys. It's very exciting for me. It opens up a new chapter in my page with Celestia, who will always be the main character, always. I'll never get rid of that gal. She's with me for the long haul, and I want to see her journey and want to see where it's going to go moving forward. So with that being said, guys, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully everything sounds very exciting, because the future is going to be very exciting for this channel and for everything moving forward. And obviously updates will come as they come, at least in terms of a website. But hopefully all these things, again, sounds like awesome ideas, and I think they definitely will be, for sure. And I'm definitely, for sure, I'm going to be sticking around. I'm here for the long haul, guys, and I'm excited to be back. It feels very good to be back and to be able to focus on tackling projects and whatnot. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Stay safe. Please stay safe out there. And I will talk to you all guys very soon. Thank you guys so much. Stay sharp. Keep hunting. You got this. Always. Take care, everybody.